Hi, I have a really amazing car. It's a 1930 CORD. It's something I've never seen before. I hope you enjoy the next video. Please tune in, and I will see you guys on the flip side. Hi, I'm here with Sean, and we're going to talk about his 1930 CORD BROUGHAM.
Yes.
Okay, it's a very unique car, and I'm not very familiar with this at all, so could you tell me a lot about it, really?
CORDs were built in Auburn, Indiana, and it was part of the Auburn Cord Duesenberg automotive group. And E.L. CORD, the owner, wanted to make his own signature car. So in 1929, he came out with the L29s, and unfortunately, it was right start of the Depression, so they only really built these for 3 years. And one of the most unique pieces of this car is this is the first front-wheel drive production car built in America.
Okay.
And they were obviously very elegant for their day. He wanted to build something that was very classic, and you know, his name was going to be on it, so he wanted the best of the best with these cars. So consequently, they built about 5,000 of these before the Depression caught up with them, and they couldn't sell a high-end car like this anymore. And they built them in 4 body styles. You had a 2-door Roadster, you had a 4-door Phaeton convertible, and a 4-door sedan, and this body style is the Brougham. The unique piece with the Brougham is it's got a blind rear quarter in it. So this would have been your the most elegant body style that they built. Very well may have been chauffeur driven because your passengers couldn't be seen in the back seat. Now, it was also the lowest production of bodies that they put out there. There's only 10 of these that are left. And this particular car sat in a Kentucky tobacco barn for almost 70 years before I acquired it. The nice thing about it, even though the car was in very bad shape, it was complete and all there because it had never been restored. It still had original interior in it. It still had the original top on it. It didn't miss any components that were there. So although a complicated and difficult restoration, we at least had something good to start with.
And you did a complete restore on it?
Yes, it needed absolutely everything. One of the unique pieces, because the car did have original interior in it, nobody's making that upholstery anymore, so we actually had to go to England and have all of the upholstery rewoven. So the upholstery, the seat fabric, all the brocade on the doors, all the piping trim, the binding for the carpets, that was all duplicated off the originals.
It has a very unique dash. Our instrument panels, if you want to say, I've never seen anything quite like it.
All very elegant. It's all German silver. And because it's front wheel drive, the shift pattern's a little odd because the transmission's in the front of the car, so you don't have a floor shifter. It's actually through the dash and then all the way across the top of the engine. And again, they were very big on detail. I mean, there is lots of filigree on everything from the door handles to the window cranks to the dash. If you get in the back, it's got opera lights.
May I get in?
Be careful, watch your step. Try to actually, there you go.
Now I feel like I've stepped back in time.
1930s?
Oh yes, now I just need the outfit to go with it. This is a very luxurious car.
Exactly, and you've got a window shade in the back so you don't have to have the sun beat in on you.
That's unique.
Nice. That is so nice. And then those tassels there to hold on to get out.
They're assist straps to help you get out.
Which we won't touch when we get out. But that is so nice. That is so nice. Do you feel elegant?
You know, it's absolutely amazing. It was actually extremely comfortable back there for something built back in 1930. I can't believe that it is that comfortable. I mean, that's like sitting on a nice sofa at home.
That's exactly what I would describe it as, because it's like if you look at how those seats were made back in the 30s, it's big sofa springs. So it is literally like sitting on your living room sofa driving down the road.
That's probably more comfortable than my car now, honestly.
It doesn't surprise me.
So, tell me a little bit about the engine.
Now these cars were all powered by a Lycoming straight 8, so you've got a very long engine presentation, and since it's front wheel drive, the transmission actually sits up towards the radiator, and then your rear end, which is really in the front, is clear out front, which really for these cars, not only was it front wheel drive, it made for this really very long, elegant hood, and because you didn't have a rear axle and a drive shaft, it would allow the roof line to be much lower. So if you compare this car to a Packard or a Cadillac or a Lincoln, the overall height of the car is much, much lower because it's front wheel drive. But it makes for a very, very elegant presentation.
I just find this fascinating. There's 2 tires, obviously spares.
Yep.
They're covered, and the mirrors are attached to the tire. It seems like this would be a lot of work. I think they probably went through a lot of tires back in the day, but this would be, or was it more so just for show?
No, they went through a lot of tires.
Okay.
And it was difficult and a lot of work to get them off. And after you took them off once, a lot of them, they didn't put the covers back on, they didn't put the hubcap back on those. So yeah, you're right. They went through a lot of tires and they were not easy to change.
I also want to comment, very unique hood ornaments. Is there some question of why or whose idea behind it?
That would have been a period accessory. It would not have come with the car. That's a Lalique crystal rooster head. And, you know, in the day, I mean, just like today, people accessorize their cars. 1920s and 30s, Lalique made hood ornaments, and they found their way.
That's actually something that they made with the car.
Yep, that would have gone with the car.
Wow.
If you wanted to take the accessory and put it out there. So.
That is Lalique.
Yes, yes.
And the lights?
Headlights?
Yes.
Back in the day, they thought bigger was better. You still couldn't see 10 feet down the road in the dark with them, but at least a horse could see you coming.
Are those self-steering?
No, they're not. There were a few cars in the day that were self-steering, but not on a Cord.
Sean, how is the car to drive?
The car is actually quite lovely to drive. It runs very smoothly, and because of the length of the wheelbase and the size of the tires, you know, it goes over potholes and bumps and railroad tracks really quite pleasantly. And as we talked about the interior,
Yeah, sitting in the back seat.
sitting on a sofa driving down the road, so it's really quite pleasant and comfortable to drive. Well, on a hot day like this, those wool seats get a little scratchy.
Sean, you finished it last year and had it ready for Pebble Beach. But my question, how many shows have you taken it to, and how many awards have you taken?
It took third in class at Pebble Beach last year, and from there we went to the Auburn Cord Duesenberg show, where I got best in show and best L29 cord there. And then I took it to Greenwich, Connecticut this spring, and it got the Publisher's Choice Award out there.
Sean, thank you so very much for sharing your car with us. She's beautiful. You guys, I hope you enjoy the next video. Tune in and stay with us.
We'd like to show your car next, so please leave us a comment, subscribe, and like us.